Yo, everybody in the house. We got 1 minute to go. Are you getting excited, people? I don't know why my brain out is either, but Kevin, your son, it must be a genius to pick up on that. Wow. Baby Yoda, yeah, get your brains out, brains out, brains out, brains out, brains out. Yo, what's up, people? Hands up, brains out. It's MC Lito here with the live stream for all you people in Japan and in the Southeast Asian region. We got an exciting show. Wait, let me double check. Is my mic on? It looks like it's on, people. We are on. Thank you so much for being on the live stream with me. My name is MC Lito, aka Lito Cruz, and my YouTube channel is all about Japan, tech, and tips and tricks to help you maximize your next trip to Japan so that you can get the most out of every moment. We got an exciting show for you tonight. My special guest is going to be Xiao, and I don't know if you saw him the first time around because this was long time ago where like this stream wasn't even a thing yet. Xiao was the first guest on my stream, and I want to I'm so glad and proud to have him back here. Xiao also has another YouTube channel. He focuses mainly on language learning, which is super awesome. This guy speaks a lot of different languages. I will get to him in a moment, but I want to say thank you guys for joining the stream tonight. We got an exciting show. It's me and Xiao on the stream together. We are going to be talking about his experience during the pandemic. Now, I think a lot of us have been affected mentally, physically, and work-wise. So, Xiao had to go through some big changes. He moved. He was living in Osaka, I think near Denden Town is the last time I heard. He said he lived somewhere near Denden Town, right? And he moved to Tokyo during the pandemic, I believe this year. We'll get into that in more detail, but we want to, talk about the move and how it's going in Tokyo. We're also going to be talking about, working from home, finding a job during the pandemic, talking about changes in careers and making new ways to get income. And finally, we're going to do a deep dive into his specialty, A to the I. Okay, it's not I, it's artificial intelligence. Xiao is now an AI engineer. So if you want to get your brains out or pick his brain, this is the show for you. Whether you don't know what AI stands for, which I kind of spelled out, or you have a little bit of knowledge, I hope this is going to be a really valuable and interesting experience for you. So guys, thank you so much. By the way, if you are new here, make sure to type new or subscribe in the comments or chat, and I will personally get back to your comments because you guys are awesome. All right, so I'm going to start off with a quick question for y'all. Wow, the chat is already on fire. Awesome, that's great. We're going to get to you really soon. My first question of the evening is, boom. I'm loving this Stream Deck, by the way. Because of this Stream Deck, I'm able to do all these cool little pullouts and pullouts sounds really bad. All these text kind of things scrolling to the side. So has your job been affected by COVID-19? Please type it in the chat and we'll get back to you after a little bit of a talk. I will tell you about my experience with COVID-19. Until the end of 2020, I was still working at my English teaching job, which I had been for the last 18 years. I actually do enjoy teaching. I do enjoy teaching English, enjoy teaching snowboarding, music, whatever. And I really liked it. And I was kind of happy at my company. But unfortunately, they were affected. And the people who got targeted first were the long timers, the really senior staff, unfortunately. So yeah, talk about getting your brains out. They're kind of like doing a lobotomy of all of the top staff there. But luckily they gave me a little bit of a severance package. They didn't just leave me out on the street. So I took that as an opportunity for change. And deep inside of me, I've always been wanting to do something online, whether it's a business or a YouTube channel or a podcast or whatever. And I thought, wow, this is the chance. You know, with the pandemic, everybody is online right now. So you guys are here. You're kind of like my captive audience. No, who knows what'll happen once like all the injections and vaccinations start to roll in all over the world. You know, America's, you know, doing it at a rapid pace. Australia's been pretty good with the lockdowns. Japan's slowly eking by and ramping up. But I wonder if there's going to be a big pendulum swing, right? Like, because everybody has been inside for the last 2 years. And we're going to go like, whoa, I want to go outside. I want to go to festivals. I want to go to restaurants. And yeah, and then all my subscribers will like, ew. But I'm sure the faithful ones like you guys will still be there in the end. But it'll be interesting times. But yeah, let us know in the comments below if your job or your career has been affected by the pandemic. All right. So with that, I want to do a little background for introducing my special guest tonight. So his name is Xiao, and he was born and raised in Beijing, China. He went to university in Canada and then Japan to finish off his master's degree. He's been in Japan for about 6 years at this point. He's learned programming as a child. He was there for the last programming stream telling me like, you know, this is like a cereal. It's like cereal and soup. You know, they're not the same. Like, yeah, you got a good point there. Anyways, he's like kind of a genius, you know. I know him through playing Magic the Gathering, and that was a lot of fun. We used to do draft and a little bit of Commander. So for all you Magic geeks out there, you know what I'm talking about. And now he's an AI engineer at a tech consulting company in Tokyo. I guess he still plays Magic the Gathering paper and maybe online, I'm not sure. And his YouTube channel is on language, religion, and politics. Xiao, we're gonna put your channel in the links in the comments later if we can. Make sure that everybody gets to check out your channel, because dude, like yeah, your channel blew up after I helped you a little bit with your audio, right, and your background setup. And seriously, it went from like 100 something subscribers to like 300 in 2 weeks. So that was amazing. I hope you're still keeping up with that. So without further delay, let me introduce my friend, my guest, Xiao. Here we go. Ooh, Xiao in the house. Let me put Xiao's microphone on so you guys can hear him. Hi, Xiao. How are you?
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, man. That's some nice audio, crispy audio you got going on there.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Awesome,
so
man.
the short story is Lito helped me set up this mic, and I got much better audio quality, and my next video got me pretty much the same amount of views and subscribers that's equal to the sum of all the videos I made previously. So that was insane.
It was insane, wasn't it? It was like a really big jump suddenly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Xiao, so thank you so much for being on the stream. You are the alpha guest, and you are back to rock this upgraded stream. So thank you for being here. Let's go back to the chat a little bit, okay, and talk to everybody. So, yeah, we got the Matt Empire going, hiya! Hey, Matt, thanks for coming, dude. Kevin Jamison with the big, my son asked why you took your brain out. And I don't know, I just, I need to park my brain sometimes. It gets hot and stuffy in there. Scribble Scrabble saying, your brain's out. Hey, hang out with your brains out. Should I go to the hospital? You probably want to avoid hospitals at the moment until they get more vaccinations. Con, my man, is like, hi, Lito, and hi, Xiao. Thank you for being so warm and welcoming. Con also says, not really, but I endured quarantine and gained weight. Oh, so you're talking about how you were affected by COVID-19. Yes. Gain weight, yes. Yeah, hands up for gain weight. Anyone else gain weight? Yeah, you too, Xiao. What is it called? Like Corona kilos, virus pounds, I don't know what it's called. At the same time, my musical friends have been doing things on YouTube, including Happy, yes. And you're talking about Fuyuki. Actually, that's how we met, Con, right? Our cool music friend Fuyuki, he has an in-home studio, and he started to do stuff on YouTube with people recording their parts online, putting on video, and then like having like 20 people on the screen singing the same song. He just dove right into video editing, and he had no background before that. And Scribble Scrabble saying, Xiao, you're sounding good, man. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Thank you for being here. Do you have anything you want to say to anybody before we start? Xiao?
Oh, let's start.
All right, let's get to it. All right. So, Yes, the first talking point is okay. Let's talk about the move from Osaka to Tokyo, or technically, where are you living now? Kawa.
So technically, I live in Saitama. Basically, yeah. So the One Punch Man prefecture of Japan.
The One Punch Man prefecture of Japan. So if you're into that, is it an anime, right? Is it anime or manga?
Yeah,
One Punch Man.
There's I think it was a manga, then become anime.
Right, right. So for people who don't know the Tokyo region really well, where is Saitama in relation to like main Tokyo?
It's up north. So
Okay.
I'm living on the southern edge of Saitama, in a city called Kawaguchi. So Kawaguchi is very interesting in that it's kind of similar to Canada because it has a lot of foreigners. Although in numbers it's only like 5%, but 5% is a lot for Japan.
Right,
And
right.
people come from all over the world.
Why is there
You can,
such a?
yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off. There's a bit of a delay. My question was, why is there a bigger population of foreigners there?
I'm not quite sure, although I know this one bit of history. So this place used to be the red light district of Tokyo, kind of. And
Mm,
yep.
okay. Yeah, that kind of
And
reminds me of
then,
Canada. No, I'm joking.
okay, go ahead.
Well, okay, it used to, so it's not that anymore.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But then it kind of the whole industry here kind of went bankrupt. Kind of, you can still see some stores. Let's call them stores. You can still see some establishments there, but they're not a big thing these days.
I see. So I wonder if, I mean, from what I hear, living in central Tokyo, like the kind of center of it, is really really expensive for like really really small apartments. We're like talking like 6 tatami mats, 8 tatami, little cubby holes. I'm wondering if where you're living in, it's a little bit bigger for the amount of money you're getting. Is that why
Oh,
people are living out there?
What? Okay, you guys are gonna envy me. My place is great.
Okay.
Yeah. So my room is pretty big. I had to divide it up with all the cardboard boxes I had left over to kind of make a kind of a separation. So I have a kind of room for sleeping and then room for working. I saw that on a CGP Grey video. Basically, you want to separate your like working space with your sleeping space and your entertainment space, so you are in the mood when you're in the place.
Right. You're in the flow, right? Yeah. CPG Gray, is that a YouTube channel?
CGP Grey.
CGP Gray. That's a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
that's a pretty famous YouTube channel. I totally recommend if you haven't heard of it. Oh, you're in for some treat.
What do you mean?
You're in for some treat. His videos great.
Okay, I'll have to check him out. Thank you for the
Yeah.
tip. But he's
Absolutely
all
recommend.
about like kind of separating your workspace from your living space so you can get into the flow. Maybe.
Well, that's one of the videos he made during the pandemic.
Okay.
It's CGP
CGP, sorry.
Grey.
CGP Gray. And what GREY. Yes, okay.
I'm actually not sure which one. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, no worries.
It's not my native language.
Yeah, I'm sure the algorithm will find you the right
Yeah.
one. And what about price wise for the amount of space that you're getting? Are you getting kind of what similar to what you were paying for in Osaka, or is it more expensive?
It's slightly more expensive. It's like 10-15% more expensive.
Really? Okay.
But this is way wider. I'm getting about twice as much personal space.
Really?
Like that's just for the living room.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the living room's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Okay, hold on. Let's just go back to the chat, just a quick thing, and then we'll go into a deeper dive of just why you had to move to Tokyo. Okay, so Khan says, is like Saitama the home of Kureon Shinchan? Shinchan is actually Kasukabe. So is my ex-girlfriend who got me into Japan. He's like, oh, so I don't know.
Okay. That sounds interesting. I didn't know this, but I guess you can Google this up. This is one of the Googleable things.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Xiao, you said I did an episode, or I was talking about going to Shiga and going to this anime elementary school or high school that was linked to an anime called Keion. And you said there's like a Japanese phrase for that, like going to places that are related to anime or manga.
Yeah, but that phrase is Seichi Junre. So that phrase actually come from religion. I think it's kind of like the. Forgive me if I'm wrong. It's similar to Hajj in Islam. Basically, you have to go to Mecca once in your life.
Ah, okay, so it's like a
So,
pilgrimage.
Pilgrimage. Yeah, thanks for the word.
Okay, nice. Well, I like that. That almost gives it a really deeper spiritual
Yeah.
sense to go to these places. So, that's so interesting. That's so interesting. Thank you so much for adding to that. Okay, let's go back to the comments real quick because there's a really long one here from Kevin Jameson.
Oh,
So,
that's pretty
whoa,
long.
that's gonna like cover like our faces. Okay, my job exists because of COVID. I was more or less forced out of my teaching job. Wow, I ended up working for my wife. Wow, so if you guys don't know
Okay.
Kevin, his wife is into, is it knitting or I remember it was something with yarn, and is it tapestries? I can't remember. Initially, we were planning to open a cafe in Nara. Yes. Obviously, it was a horrible thing, horrible timing for the cafe. Mary runs some yarn shops, and their most profitable products were hand-dyed yarns. Awesome. Because of COVID, international shipping was hugely delayed. Big shipments of yarn were delayed months. I've been gradually training myself to be a professional dyer. We are currently talking with a real estate agent to find a location for a dedicated yarn dyeing studio. That is so cool. Thank you for sharing that, Kevin. Xiao, what's your
Yeah.
reaction to that?
I guess when people are indoors, they have more time to knit like sweaters and stuff. I guess.
There's a pretty avid like when it comes to knitting. I don't know the whole subsects and like knitting and tapestries and stuff, but I knew a friend. His mother, he lived here, and his mother came all the way from England to share her knowledge of knitting and then learn about traditional Japanese knitting. And there's like a pretty big community, so you'd be surprised as to like how successful these things can be. And I guess because people are at home, that exacerbates or like increases the amount of people knitting, like you said. So great job. And Kevin says she publishes a knitting magazine too. Awesome. So that's another income revenue stream. Yeah, knitting.com. What's it called, like tied up or entanglement?
That's
or
a
no?
that will be a good. Those will both be good names.
Yeah, I'm just joking, Kevin. We're just playing with you. But I remember you mentioning that to me a few years back. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing well and that you're transitioning to kind of support your wife's business, and that's really cool. You're keeping it in the family. Hey, as for me, I'm transitioning to be a full-time content creator. Since I started, really interesting opportunities have come just from nowhere. Like sometimes I started making music videos, doing travel videos. Just the other day, a friend of mine, Daniel, he has a website called Beerjuku, and it's like sommelier, like a beer sommelier kind of thing. And he wants me to record some an intro video for his YouTube channel or for his channel. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll pay you." I'm like, "Okay, I'm done. I'm there." I'd still help you anyways because you're my friend, right? But it's like, okay, great. So these things are like starting to come out here and there, and it's just from word of mouth, really. So it's kind of exciting and at the same time scary if you've been doing something for so long. Xiao, let's talk about you. I mean, what was your motivation to move to Tokyo? Is it okay to ask?
Yeah, we're good. I mean, that's our next topic. Me
Awesome.
finding a new job in Tokyo.
Okay, so let's segue into that. I think that was a nice little transition there. But let me ask this question before we go. Let me move the text down a bit. So the question is hard to read. Sorry, let's put it over our faces like Kevin did. Okay, yeah. Have you? I love that. Have you moved during the pandemic? Have you been to Tokyo before? If so, how was it? Okay. All right, we dodged the text bullet there. So yeah, Xiao, tell me a little bit more about moving to Tokyo and your motivations for it.
So my move was a disaster.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, it's a complete disaster. I guess I wasn't planning well, and this is really my first time moving very long distance. So last time I was graduating from university, so my university is in Kobe. I had to move to Osaka, but those places are pretty close. I basically was able to ship all my stuff with trains.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of just did it a lot of times and move all my stuff gradually from Kobe to Osaka. And this time it was from Osaka to Tokyo, so it's obviously much further away.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up asking my friends, and apparently the best way was to actually ship all your luggage with post office or Kumoneko Yamato.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
Wasn't that
So-
expensive though to do it by a private courier like that?
So it depends on the amount of stuff you have. It turns out hiring a truck or anything like that from Osaka to Tokyo would be way more expensive.
So interesting. Oh, that's a good tip to know if I ever move like long distances. So
Yeah.
you saying like do it in like smaller parcels, piecemeal kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, the big question is, okay, two questions, kind of part one, part two. Are you a minimalist? I know a lot of people besides me are more minimalist than I. So do you have a lot of stuff to move?
I've never compared it with other people, but I have about 11 cardboard boxes of stuff to move.
Okay. To tell you the truth, that sounds reasonable, I guess.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah, if you said like I have three, then I would say yeah, you're definitely a minimalist. I would
Yeah,
probably have way more than that.
Impossible.
Right. And then how many of those cardboard boxes had magic cards in them?
Two or three.
Okay. Okay, so I've been trying to like cut down on my stuff. I it's hard. I'm like
yeah.
I got so much stuff. But you know
Yeah.
I
all the comments.
all the comments. I'm throwing them away. Like I used to go to like Haruya when I was in Sapporo. I made a trip to I was probably Haruya or one of the shops there, and they were giving away boxes of commons. Like I just chuck those out. They're like kind of it's just taking space. But you know what? I met up with a friend who's actually moving to America at the end of the week. By the way, that's Matt Michael. Matt Michael, big
End
shout
of
out
the
to you.
week.
End of the week, yeah, they're moving to Florida. I'm gonna show you this. This is actually gonna be on future streams. This is Matt's old DJ crew. It's called KBK, Kansai Beat Crew, and unfortunately they're not together anymore. But I bought a few hats from him. He was selling them on Facebook, and he gave me a whole bunch to give as giveaways later. So if you guys are interested in this, I'll highlight this a little more in a different stream. But I met up with him, and he's like, you know, dude, I've been selling a lot of my stuff on Mercari. So if you guys don't know what Mercari is, it's kind of like a eBay app, but mainly for selling your own personal items, whether they're new or used. And their whole infrastructure for like getting it into people's hands, like usually the listing is listed with shipping included. He sold his DJ deck for like under $1,000. It took him about a month. He's selling clothes, he has a young child, so selling toys, and he's made a pretty good income just by selling a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, sorry, I just got to pull this up because it's relevant to what we're talking about now. Matt says, "Oh, Matt's leaving." So this is Matt talking to a different Matt. And then Matt, I remember you saying, "Yeah, Matt Michaels." Like, there's another Matt in the stream. Yeah, that's him, dude. I didn't know until a couple days ago. He's leaving, but he's sold a lot of his stuff, and he told me, I wish I had known about Mercari earlier and figured it out, because I would have been, he's a flipper, right? He buys things cheap and then flips them high, and he's like, I would have been making another income stream. So, hey guys, like, all your old stuff there, if you want, just take a few nice photos, put it up on Mercari. The app even has an English version, so if you don't read Japanese a lot, it could be a good thing to check into. Thanks for saying that though, Matt. So, It was.
Can I ask something just randomly?
Go ahead.
Okay, so what's the difference between Yahoo Auctions and Mercari?
That's a great question, Xiao, because I use both. So, and I use both mainly to buy magic cards or like little lighting things for photography and whatnot. The difference I find is Mercari is actually probably the better way to go if you don't use it that often. because for one reason, Yahoo Auctions, you actually have to pay a monthly fee to be using that service. Matt's asking, how do you spell that? I'm just going to type that in the chat. Mercari, and in katakana is Mercari. In katakana, I think they have it in around the world. And he's saying the difference is spelling, right? Yeah, of course. Yahoo Auction and Mercari are different spellings, but what I find the Mercari one is a lot more streamlined. It's just a lot. I don't know. For me, it's more visually like. I can see the thumbnails easier and I can kind of pick and choose, and there's more search options, and it's not auction based, right? So it's basically, there's the list price and it's three things. It's list price, does it include shipping, or do you have to pay shipping separately, and how long does it take for them to actually send it to the post. So you can filter all of those. I always do it just with shipping, so I don't have to calculate a different price. And there's some pretty good deals there. I would say prices are comparable, but I tend to go to Mercari more than I do Yahoo Auctions. But I have used both in the past. Yeah. Have you used either?
I've only used Yahoo Auctions. Well, as a buyer. I wish I had known about these earlier. So one thing that kind of bothered me was when I was moving was the microwave. Did you know if you have a microwave in Kansai in Japan, you cannot use it in Tokyo because the frequency of the electricity is different.
You're talking about, is it the voltage? Is it
No,
ampere?
the frequency of not the voltage, not the amperage. The frequency of the electricity is different.
Whoa.
So it's alternating current, right?
Yeah.
So the alternating frequency is different.
That's nuts. Yeah, I heard about this in an English class once. The students work for Kansai Denryoku, Kansai Power Electric Power Company.
Ended up throwing my microwave away.
No way.
That's sad.
That's a very, what would it just wouldn't work at all, right? I guess it wouldn't explode on you or anything like that.
Oh, I figured it out before I actually plug it in. So.
Oh, wow. And I think, why did they do that? I think because it's an old historical thing. I think it has to do with the way they lay down the power cables or the power companies. Yeah, because that's why they usually have the Tokyo Power and Kansai Power, and they have different things. Yeah, I think they're on different grids. Because remember when the earthquake happened in 2013, the Tokyo grid was really down, and they couldn't send electricity from the Kansai area because of that problem. That's where I learned it from. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's weird. So, I mean, again, we can go off this topic on the deep end, but let's go back to the chat because you guys are on fire. There's a lot of people commenting here. So hold up 1 second. Hold up. So yeah, Matt's funny. He's like, Matt Michael's leaving. We are the Matts, and then how do you spell that, Mercari? And he said the difference between Mercari and Yahoo Auctions is spelling. It's funny, Matt. And then Kevin Jameson is like, God, I miss Magic. I played way back in high school. I think I quit around Fallen Empires.
Jeez.
Kevin, you were probably right to quit around Fallen Empires. So I don't know if you guys know, but Fallen Empires was this set that really didn't amount to anything. They were really cheap packs, though. I remember that. I was buying them at $2 at the stores in Canada, and I was just buying them like crazy. And look at rare! I got another Goblin Grenade and a Spore Thalid God, whatever. You're none of those cards are really that expensive anymore. Matt says, I would like to sell my massage chair that I never use. So that might be the way to go. Yes, I think if you don't sell it, you might want to... Okay, no, I have to be more minimalist. Awesome. Khan is saying, I could actually use that. He's talking about Mercari now. I have stuff I'd like to get out of my overcluttered house. Thanks kindly. Yeah, dude, check it out. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a Mercari episode at one point. Because a lot of people are doing that nowadays, right? They're getting rid of their old stuff, but not just throwing it away. And especially in Japan, big items, you got to pay to get it taken care of. So you might want to just try to sell it for sure. Yee in the house. Hi, Yee. Okay, I got to give Yee second time being here. Hey, thanks for coming. And a little bit of a DJ horn. I know Xiao likes a DJ horn. I forgot to give him the DJ horn. We'll give him the DJ horn outro. Please remind me. And she's like, what's the opposite? Can we use a microwave from Tokyo in Kansai? That's a good question, Xiao.
I am not sure.
Okay, thank you. But I think theoretically, from what you're saying, if the current is different, wouldn't it not work? Or is it because you go from a higher frequency to lower, will it work? I don't know. Let's give it a try. Xiao, send your micro. I'm just joking. That's a really good question, though. I think, that's a really good question, especially Yi in your business. Sometimes you deal with housing, right? So that is a very valid question. And Kevin says the east and west grids operate at a different frequency. Okay, so there you go. So they are region locked, basically. Matt says, I don't like magic. Too much reading. Not enough gaming. Yeah. Yeah, it's true, Matt. Magic's not good for literate people. Hey, Andrew in the house. He's
That's
like,
harsh.
Mercari. Yeah, I'm just joking. Mercari is the way to go. I'm selling lots of stuff on it or on Rakuma. Rakuma, is that the Rakuten's
Okay.
Mercari kind of service?
Sounds-
Awesome, dude. Hey,
sounds
Andrew, nice to
fun.
see you, man. Thank you for coming.
Andrew.
All you guys, yeah. Another Magic player in the house. But yeah, Matt, your comment is fair. Like, I often skim over the cards, especially if I'm playing in Japanese. Like, I just kind of hone in on the words that I need to know, and I don't read it all and make mistakes here and there. But
Now, interesting fact:
Mm-hmm.
magic cards are a great way to learn another language
it's true.
because so the wordings are predictable,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you already know the meanings in one language, so you're just guessing which word means what.
I'll tell you something. A few Magic cards came up in my N1 Japanese online class for the Nihongo Kente, the Japanese class. And, the sense is like, he's a pretty good teacher and he's like always trying to challenge us. He's like, what is that word? Like when you have to sacrifice yourself, you give up something. And, what's that word? It starts with E. And I'm like, Ikenie. He's like, how did you know that? I'm like, because this card game I play. I learned some really. It means sacrifice in Japanese, and yeah. Oh, Juan, dude, thank you so much. Juan's in the house. Juan gets the party noise maker. Awesome, Juan. Great work, man. Thank you so much. It's good to see you again. But yeah, you're right though. I'm gonna do another Magic the Gathering episode. I think Magic has a lot of connections to Japan, so we're definitely gonna do that. But the deep point there was like I learned some really interesting words that might be useful on the N1 test. Andrew says I learned lots of words kanji in Chinese while playing MTG in China. That's right, nice one, Andrew. Shall we've played with Andrew before, have we? The three of us?
Yeah.
We went to Nakatsu, right?
Yeah.
Card shop flat.
I don't know where, but definitely played with Andrew multiple times.
Oh, excellent. Magic players in the house. Kevin Jamin says, like, my best friend paid for his wedding with his old Black Lotus and mixes. Mixes, do you mean like dual lands? Moxes. What?
I guess
Moxes, probably, yeah. Paid for his wedding? That is crazy. I don't. My little brother, it was on the stream last week, and the thing came up about minimalism, and I'm like, oh, my little brother Jerome, I wish you didn't throw away those old Magic boxes, because I had like a lion diamond's eye, and I had these cards that were worth quite a bit, but it's all good. And yeah, Kevin James says Moxes. Okay, so for the non-Magic the Gathering, we'll have to do another episode just for the Magic geeks here, because Magic is big in Japan, definitely. Awesome, guys. Thank you for being so interactive in the chat. So basically, let's go back. You said it was a disaster.
Yeah.
You moved.
It was a disaster.
Right. You moved basically what for a new job, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about finding that job. How long did it take? Whatever you want to reveal. I don't want to put salt on old wounds, but.
Okay. So Wait, are we moving to the next topic? I thought we were talking about moving.
We're still talking kind of about your reason to go. So we're still a little bit of moving, but we're not getting to AI yet. So.
Okay. So it basically took me a whole year to find the job. So my plans were always changing. At first, I was trying to go back to China actually, but then.
Right.
As we all know, it kind of become an impossibility, and after a couple of months, it kind of opened up, but I didn't realize the amount of money it's going to cost me is insane. The plane ticket cost is insane, and I had to pay for like 2 weeks of quarantine in hotels and out of my pocket. And I was like, how about I just find a job?
Right, right. I remember we talked around that time, and I was kind of, at that time I was still working, and I was really concerned if you could find a job. I personally, you're my friend, so I was hoping you could stay in Japan longer. But if you had to go, I would, wish you the best. But I'm glad you stayed. How did you finally find a job? Because I thought at that time, I don't know how the job market was. If it was really tough to find a job in your field, right?
So the story is kind of weird. It's definitely not your typical process of finding a job.
Okay.
So I submitted the what's it called? The CV.
Yeah.
So
CV.
I submitted
Resume.
my resume in I think March or April. That's the first resume I tried to submit on my own because I was relying on LinkedIn before. So
I see.
we've got all these agents, but they kind of never got me jobs that I liked.
It's tough sometimes. I
Like
know.
they got me nice paying jobs, like opportunities for nice paying jobs, but they aren't like exactly of my skill.
Really. What was your background in the previous job?
Games.
So I can't remember. I know you're working at a game company.
Yeah.
It had ties to, like, was it a Chinese gaming company, or it had tied to the Chinese market?
Well, we had ties to Chinese market, but we kind of lost that. So that was an interesting story. So I was working with this company that's actually quite famous. I was working on I think that their biggest hit called Lowgrass of Sword and Magic. If anyone's in the audience, I'm not sure if you heard of it, but if you like playing Japanese RPG, like it was a MMORPG on your smartphone, but it was like back then when it wasn't really a thing, so it was like a hit.
Right, right. It was one of the first of its kind, right, on
Yeah.
smartphones. And you were a game designer there? You were a programmer? What were you doing?
I was a server side programmer.
Okay, so you're handling the
with-
back end
Yeah,
of it all. Yeah.
yeah, back end.
Oh, okay, okay. And then that kind of, I remember you telling me at the time the company it fell through with China maybe, and that's what affected your job. So wasn't coronavirus directly?
Oh, definitely no. So I knew my contract is gonna end like last year. No, the year before.
Corona.
So basically 2019.
Right, like at the end of that, right? I remember.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, and then Corona hit, and then I was like, okay, what are you gonna do? And so you decided to stick it out. Okay.
Yeah. So I actually only found out later that our entire studio in Osaka was sold to another company. Just like the parent company just kind of cut off with us.
Wow,
and,
that's
and
crazy.
that's why they cannot renew my contract.
Okay.
The
So they're
second day my contract ended, the whole studio was sold.
oh my gosh, talk about cutting your losses. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, that has nothing to do with Corona. I was talking about finding a job. So I submitted my resume like April. So that's when I got my first interview. The CEO, it's a small company, so it's not that uncommon. But the CEO interviewed me, and we're having very nice conversations. It's like, yeah, I'm definitely getting this job at least another round. That's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And then nothing,
Oh.
and then nothing for months.
Mm. Wow. So you're just
And-
waiting. Wow.
Yeah, so I was trying this, trying that, but I've tried a lot of places, but this place was kind of my dream job because we had we had a guy who really knows deep learning in the company,
Awesome. Awesome.
and so that's why I was so hell bent in joining this company.
Okay. Could you break down what deep learning means? Like, I know a little bit of it because I had friends who worked as robot engineers here in Japan. They explained what deep learning is. It's a phrase that's used a lot when it comes to like AI and machine learning and deep learning. What is deep learning?
Deep learning is one of the new ways to make artificial intelligence. It's basically you throw in a bunch of GPUs and money and you get better AIs. I guess that's the easiest way of putting it.
Right, right. Okay.
And data. Don't forget data.
So it's all about massive data, neural networks, and training the AI to be smarter.
A lot of data, a lot of computations. I know it may sound ironic, but the trend has been putting in a lot of GPUs and a lot of computations, a lot of money, and a lot of data, and to make bigger and better stuff.
Interesting. When you're talking about GPUs, that's so interesting because there's a big shortage of GPUs. So GPUs,
that's one of the costs.
Is it really?
Of the cost.
Okay.
The other one being crypto.
Crypto, exactly. So when people talk about this, what they're talking about, GPU is a graphics performance unit, or is it graphics power card?
Graphics processing unit.
Processing unit. Sorry, that's it. I haven't said the whole word in a long time.
Graphics processing unit. The thing is, basically, they are doing computation for each. So let me put it this way: so the screen you're watching this video on is made of a bunch of small lights, right? So you have a LED screen or whatever you have. So each of the small, I guess we call them pixels, are basically small lights. You have to calculate what colors you want to display to make a video or 3D graphics for games or whatever. So what it requires is massive parallel computing of simple things to calculate the pixel color.
Right.
So this is called shading. The machine learning, artificial neural networks, it does something very similar to this. So you can basically use your GPUs that you may use for games just to repurpose it for training this AI.
It's so interesting. Okay, so you're saying a GPU, a graphics processing unit, its initial purpose, its main purpose was to compute graphics, right? To give us all those cool graphics and 3D things that happen live, and it has to do it like real time, basically. A lot of computations, a lot of things happen real time.
A lot of parallel computation.
Parallel computations. Okay. Okay, as opposed to serial, as like, first, second, third. Okay, but now that stuff that people realize that's good for other purposes. One is what you said, building AI, and the other one is cryptocurrency, where people are calling Bitcoin and these other Bitcoins, because they also need a lot of processing power, right? These type of computations.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that coupled with the chip shortage in the world is making GPUs like really either really rare to get or expensive, right? So I had a friend, I did the Den Town stream, and he messaged me later. He's like, oh, hey, what's the best place to go there to get computer parts? And I'm like, oh, DOS Paradise. And I'm like, oh, what do you want to get there? I was like, oh, a graphics card. I'm like, oh yeah, good luck getting a graphics card.
Good luck.
Right. So thank you for
so sad.
Thank you for explaining that in kind of basic terms, because that's going to come up a little bit later. Shao, I want to kind of get to the part where, like, so you finally found the job, and then after that, let's go back to the chat, because a lot of people are trying to comment. So how long did it take, and how did you find it?
Just waited a couple months, and they weren't responding. So, but then I saw them posting a new message, like a new recruiting ad. So I sent them an email. Was like, did I do something wrong in the interview? Please, like I was being very polite. I wasn't asking them why didn't I get the job, but I was like trying to be very polite about it.
Very nice.
And they said, what did they say? I mean, they basically said they want me, but it has been a few months, and because of Corona and all the stuff, and basically they had this hiring freeze. It's kind of the same with a lot of other companies. They can't just pause hiring for the next year. But I think it really depends on the size of your company. If you're a big company, you have a lot of money and stuff, you can kind of weather this out. you can just still commit to hiring new people, commit to the wages you're about to give them. But if you're a small company, you cannot make that commitment. So I think the problem was they were afraid I was going to leave. So they never sent me another email.
Oh, you mean leave back for China?
Now that's one of the things, and they were also afraid I was just going to find another job because it has been several months.
Oh, I see.
So they underestimated how much I wanted their job.
Oh, wow. Okay, so they did have you in mind, but there seemed to be a little bit of hesitancy
Yeah.
and
So
misunderstanding.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then we had the second round of interview. I passed, and that's how I got the job.
Good for you. That is amazing. That shows perseverance, right? So good on you, Xiao. That's amazing. And the fact that I love how you said that is basically my dream job, right? I want to work at that company. I think it's so important now, and I know you hadn't been working for that long actually, because you graduated, you started working at that video game company. You said you have programming skills, but I was wondering how translatable those skills are to another type of company, but it sounds like they are, or either maybe you learned stuff in the meantime to get that position. But
I felt like I was trained for this. My master's degree prepared me for this.
nice. I like that. I was trained for this.
It's a
I was
good
making
feeling. It's a good feeling. You actually, all the stuff you learned wasn't in vain.
Oh, that's so heartwarming to hear, Xiao. I'm so
Yeah.
glad that there's like a happy ending and that we're able to share that with the others here. That is so cool. And you know what? I feel for you. Like when I was talking to you, I still had my job and I was like, hey, what are you gonna do? I'm kind of worried about you, or if you're gonna go back to China or whatever. Now I'm in the opposite position. I'm like, okay, I don't have a job now, but there's this dream job that I have, is like kind of doing stuff online and videography and content creation. This has been my dream for probably the last 10 years or so. And I don't know if I've been trained for it, but I just feel like deep inside, this is what I was kind of made to do. This is maybe my calling, right? So, however, on a side note, one of the first couple of months I was looking for work too, with the different resources I had. Kojima Studios in Tokyo had an online work from home job, being a local translator for them in the American studios. So if you guys don't know what Kojima Studios is, Hideki Kojima, I think if I got his name right, he used to make the Metal Gear series at Konami, and then he branched off and made his own company, and he did Death Stranding. So that's the PS4 game with the guy from The Walking Dead. They scanned his face, and he's like this really famous actor. It's the one where you're like basically a U.S. postal delivery service in a post-apocalyptic world, and you're like have a whole bunch of like baggage on your back, and you have to walk from place to place. Crazy game, like total game changer. You've never seen a game like that. But how I would have loved to have worked at a game studio like that, but my Japanese wasn't at that level yet. You need at least N2 or N1. I haven't taken the test for a while, so I went back to language learning, and hopefully, maybe that's my path. Maybe YouTube's my path. I don't know, but it's interesting. Good for you. Thank you for sharing that, Xiao. Let's go back to the chat. You guys are on fire again. Let's go to Kevin. No, we're going to go to Khan. Khan says, on the topic of looking for jobs in the pandemic atmosphere, I don't really have a valuable skill set, really. So I spent a long time sending resumes for low-paying English teaching jobs with no results. That's kind of something I was a bit worried about as well, honestly. There's a lot of people who teach English in Japan. I know, Xiao, you have a different history of work here, but I think a lot of people have that concern.
I always wanted to teach English, but I think they want natives.
It depends on the company, I would say. Some companies are hell-bent on that, but other companies are like, okay, if you're fluent but you're not native, then it's fine. Xiao, if I were in your position, I mean, if I were to like, if I were still working at an English school and I had connections, I would recommend you. I think your English is good enough. You have a nice Canadian accent. That's a bonus.
Thanks.
So, right.
Do I?
Kind of. I mean, I don't think it's
Kinda.
British or anything. I think it's more North American. Or maybe international CNN standard. I don't know.
I always kind of wanted a part-time job teaching English, but anyways, yeah.
That's awesome, dude. I think you should still do it. I mean, with your language interest and your language channel, maybe you can incorporate that a little bit with your channel or maybe a different channel. Let's go to Andrew. Andrew says deep learning is part of machine learning, which is part of AI, as far as I know. Yes, I think.
Yeah,
is that a fair
I
assessment?
guess. So, yes, deep learning is part of machine learning, which is one of the ways to create AI.
To create AI, so it's like the first stages to
Yeah.
train.
So,
and build.
to quote my professor, machine learning is the method, AI is the result.
Oh, awesome! Machine learning is the method, AI is the result. That is a great quote by Xiao. By Xiao, right there. Awesome. Okay, so
it's my professor. So
okay, by professor through way of Xiao. Okay. Khan says, follow up to his last comment. As of last week, I am finally working full time as an English teacher in elementary schools. Well done, Khan. I am so happy to hear that too. That's another win.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, man. Yeah. Kevin goes, I find it amazing that machine learning for social issues has had a problem with producing racist results. Okay. Maybe you can touch upon that in a little bit, but it says it might seem illogical, but the data sets they are built from racist and historical documents, for example, in the medical field, prescribing less painkiller for black people than whites. I've heard something similar. Xiao, what's your take on that?
So we have this thing in machine learning that's garbage in, garbage out. So the results will be dependent on your data. If you have racist data, you will get racist results. There are reasons other than data that can cause racial bias, but I think we are talking about the data problem in here. So actually, one of the three giants of machine learning, Yang LeCun, has actually made a tweet about this. There was a whole Twitter drama about the whole thing, but the gist of it is to solve the bias data problem, you have to kind of just add in. You kind of have to use algorithms to balance them out. So basically, if you have one black people's data and 5 white people's data, you have to use one black guy's data 5 times.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the way of solving it. But of course, if you use one person's data 5 times, it's not gonna be as good as 5 persons' individual data.
Right. But you have to put in some sort of data to balance it out. Otherwise, you're gonna get skewed results.
I mean, so I think there's always a cost when you move forward. You have to adapt to new things, but when you don't, if you're doing medicine, then if you don't switch to a better method, then you're kind of risking the health of your patients.
I see.
I think there's a more argument for both sides. So if you get better results, even though if the results may be a bit racially biased, overall it can still be better than what you were using before.
Wow. Okay, so that's an interesting point of view. But Kevin, you bring up a very good point, and yeah, AI is still kind of in a, it's developing, but it's still in the early stages, I think, in overall. So we're still learning a lot about those type of choices and balances. Yi says, not many people go back to them, your company that you got hired at eventually, asking why they didn't decide to have you. Good job. And Xiao, I think that deserves applause. And the DJ horn. Yes. Okay. Awesome, dude. Thank you, Yi, for those encouraging words. And yeah, I totally agree, man.
Thanks.
That is great. Khan says, hey, Mr. Xiao, my heartiest congratulations. You're awesome.
Thanks, Khan.
Playing around with these sound effects because I know it makes Xiao smile. Okay, Xiao is like, when is singularity happening? One shot. One shot, one kill. And what is singularity, by the way?
Singularity is when you can have AI develop kind of self-improve. I think that's what it means.
Is he talking about doomsday? Is that what he's talking about?
It's when you can have AI that build better AI by itself. So you know it's kind of like when you have coronavirus, when you have a R0 of above 1, the virus is spreading, and when it's below 1, it's kind of going downhill. It's the same kind of for AI when it's above 1. When
Okay.
it starts to grow exponentially,
Right.
and nothing can stop it.
Okay, so nothing can stop. I like that last phrase.
Kind
But
of.
so it's like, in other words, when AI starts replicating it and making it, improving itself without the need of humans. Is that kind of the thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least that will be my definition. But you can see Andrew just made a new comment. He says singularity that's the latest comment. One, GAI, general artificial intelligence, that's the last comment, surpasses humans.
So that's okay. So that's Andrew's definition of it. So his question was, so when is it happening, Xiao? Let us know. I'm gonna put it in my calendar. Any thoughts?
Well, you're trying to expect a real answer to that question.
Well, I guess Andrew is.
Okay.
Do you think this is a concern? I mean, we're gonna go into AI next, and a lot of people are wondering, is this the dun 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 kind of Terminator future that we're thinking of?
Well, I'm a kind of a transhumanist, so my perspective would be it's very costly to build AIs that have human experiences. And I've lived in this world for like 30 years, and I've seen a lot of things. If you want to build an AI with equivalent power, you have to feed the AI that much data, and it's expensive to do so. So how about just make my brain kind of computer-y and upload my consciousness and that kind of path.
Interesting. So you are kind of
Yeah.
more like let's do this kind of thing.
It seems easier that way.
Seems easier that way. Yeah, right. Okay. Well, I don't know if that's an actual date, but Xiao is giving you his take on being a transhumanist. Transhumanist. That's the first time I heard that word, but that's really cool. Khan says, "Thank you guys. I'm having fun and making no money." Yeah, I could attest to that to some degree. I hope that you have fun and make more money as you go along there, Khan. Okay, so Xiao, let's transition to the last part. Yeah, that's kind of like similar to the question I was asking.
Before we go to the last part, can I just say one thing?
Please go ahead.
If you ever rent an apartment in Japan and you're trying to move out, clean the damn thing. You have to clean everything.
Okay.
Or otherwise, they're going to try to find every single excuse to deduct all your deposit, and they can go over that. I was charged twice my deposits.
For not cleaning up or for leaving damages in the walls?
So basically, they said it's damage on the walls, but I'm pretty sure if I just wiped the wall with a mop, it's just gonna go off.
Right.
So they are just being very mean. They're being very mean.
Yeah, that's no good. I've had okay experiences with it. Like I only moved kind of like once, and it was an older apartment anyways. And they said, we're gonna renew everything. They're gonna take down the wallpaper and do anything. So we'll just charge you. We'll take 10,000, 20,000 off the deposit. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I put a few holes here and there. I did clean up though. I did, but still they.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the landlord.
Yeah.
So for me, it was an agent company. Basically, it's on. So the first time when I moved from Kobe to Osaka, I paid nothing.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I did clean the room, but the landlord didn't ask me for a penny.
Oh, that's nice. Again, it's maybe case by case. Andrew, you recently moved from Kobe to Kobe. Was it Kobe to Kobe? Nishinomiya to more of the Kobe area. Andrew, let us know if you guys had to pay stuff for your move about damages or leaving things dirty.
Yeah.
But so the last question before our last segment is, so what do you think about AI? Is it doomsday or the future of society? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Bing. Okay, so Xiao, you are the expert here. Let us know kind of you said transhumanist. I'm kind of interested in that word. What does that mean exactly?
So I guess one of the transhumanism in popular media would be the game called Deus Ex.
I'm gonna type that in the
So
chat. Go ahead.
basically, you're trying to replace yourself with machine. Like just extend your abilities with machines, replacing part of your body, replacing even your brain with machines. That's kind of the idea. You can live forever as a robot.
Is it the same concept as like a cyborg?
A cyborg would be more in between stage. It's when you have implants on your body. So I guess that's if you're a cyborg, you're not a completely a robot. You have flesh parts.
Wow.
So I guess this is the very long-term goal. I don't think this is something achievable in my lifetime.
So I've seen TV shows that talk about this and probably science fiction books as well. Kevin makes an interesting comment here that I think is relevant to our topic now. He says, "Congratulations, Xiao. Nice. I'm glad you found a great job. On the
Thanks.
subject of uploading consciousness, yes, I recommend the Amazon Prime series Upload. Yeah, I think I've actually seen that.
Okay.
And
I have Amazon Prime. I can watch that.
there are other recent sci-fi series that toy with the idea in a future world where our consciousness is uploaded to some sort of cloud. We can download it into different bodies.
Yeah,
Or
I've watched the Altered Carbon. I think it's
Altered
called.
Carbon, yes, yeah, that one, right? So like,
Yeah.
if you die, you can still have your conscious uploaded and have a new shell or have a clone of your body or whatever. It's kind of weird because then bodies just become shells.
Yeah, I guess.
So is that more along the idea of fully transcending into that type of? Is that what transhumanism is about?
Well, Altered Carbon you still have flesh sleeves. I think it's called a sleeve in the show. But if you just replace flesh with machine, I think it's much better if you can build special purpose machines. You can build machines for thinking. I think that's not in the show, but really, I think the capacity of human brain is very limited. I think psychology and other sciences have shown humans are susceptible to lots of biases, and we have defects in our brains. Basically, our brain just evolved, and of course, it's not gonna be perfect. So, if we can improve our brain, I think it would be a favor to everyone.
Interesting. The older I get, the more, not obsessed, but the more I think about death. I know this is a pretty morbid topic, but it's scary to me. Being somewhat spiritual, of course, there's the idea of the afterlife floating around, but there's also a little bit of fear in me, like, okay, that's it, right? Like, this is the last shutdown. Maybe there's nothing else, and I'm just more afraid than anything. Maybe I need to do more meditation and be Buddhist and kind of accept the end. But if we go to transhumanism, like, yeah, hey, it's not over yet. Let's keep partying on. I don't know. I don't know where I stand with it because we're in an age where this is gonna get closer and closer. Maybe not in our lifetimes. That would be cool, but maybe in the next 2 to 3 generations.
Well, the research to stop aging, if you just want to live forever, the research to stop aging may happen in our lifetime.
Right. What are those called? Telemites in our DNA.
Telomeres.
Telomeres. That's it. Telomeres.
Yeah. I think it's probably more complicated than. I'm not a biologist. Don't quote me on that. But I think it's probably very complicated. So.
Oh wow, we're going into.
Yeah, we're going very deep.
You're going deep. Yeah, we're going more than AI. We're going into like the philosophical thing of death and transcendence into transhumanism. But that's cool. Let's go to the chat a little bit because again, a lot of people are putting out really interesting comments.
That's a lot of chat,
yeah. You guys are awesome in the chat, by the way. Yi is saying, just as Xiao said, good things in, good things out. It depends on how we teach AI. If the student is bad, It's the teacher's problem. Good point. To avoid having a Terminator in the future, it's our duty to create good AI. I think, Yi, by the way, I've heard that said in other words. Elon Musk, who is the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, said something else to that same line. He said, AI is like a Pandora's box. Once you open it, you can't close it. So it's our duty to train it well, you know?
Yeah. I think more people need to learn about AI and to help us build a safer future with AI. There's no way of going back, because if you go back, you will not be competitive internationally, and you're just going to be left behind.
There's this idea of academic inflation, right? So like, okay, if you had a 4-year degree, you got a good job. Now, if you have a master's degree, you have a good job. Okay, next is if you have a 10-year degree, then you're competitive still, right? I wonder if it's like technological inflation. You can't go back to like, oh, I have a flip phone. It's a feature phone. What? Everyone uses smartphones. 10 years from now, yeah, everyone uses iPhones. Like, see, in my eye, like I got the iPhone 25. Who knows? Good points, guys. Guys, this is so interesting. It's deeper than I thought. Let's go to a few comments that talk about Neuralink. So Andrew says, what do you think about Neuralink as a way to harness singularity and become humanes? Nice job there, Andrew. And then Matt 20 in the house. Okay, so Matt 20, I know who you are with the D20 over there. Nice. I might have kind of confused you. I thought you were with the Matt earlier, which is Matt, the Matt Empire. So I wonder if the Matt Empire is Matt Michaels and this is the other Matt. But anyways, Matt also says along the same lines, have you mentioned Neuralink yet? Okay, so can you be our expert and say what is Neuralink? And can we answer Andrew's question here?
I'm just gonna be very honest. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I have not read on. I've not read on it.
You have not read up on it. Okay, what is Neuralink though? You know that much, right?
Yeah, it's a kind of a brain-machine interface. I of course I know that much.
Okay. Is that the one that again was funded by Elon Musk? Is that the one? I
think so.
With the monkey playing a video game?
Of course, there's similar research going on all over the world. Mm-hmm. But Neuralink is probably a trademark or something by Elon Musk.
Okay. But the concept is like getting technology to either, like, is it a headset or an implant that reads your brain waves, reads your intention?
Yeah, it's trying to use your brain to control things. I mean, that's what human brain machine interface means.
Right. But on a kind of more extended level, right? Because our brain controls our body, but now just without using our body to touch something, we can just think it, and I can like turn on the TV or like, open the curtains, as long as it's all connected via Internet of Things, right? So the implications that, Andrew says in the deeper sense of it is like, yeah, can we use this to get closer to singularity towards...
I think Andrew is talking about a link in another direction. You are talking about from computer back to your brain. That's not something I have seen at this stage. But of course, I think people are probably doing some kind of research. I guess there's the Star Trek Next Generation. Who's the guy's name? I don't quite remember. The guy has a visor who's allows him to see.
Geordi LaForge.
Oh, Geordi. Yeah. Geordi. Yeah, he's got a visor. So basically, it's a machine that was able to transmit signals into his brain. So we are kind of talking about cybernetic implants.
Well, there's already stuff like that. There's like a cochlear implant, an inner ear implant. So it's like a hearing aid device that's transmitted, that takes audio data right directly into your ear.
It's difficult. It's probably again, I'm not an expert, so don't quote me on this. It's probably way more difficult to transmit signal, like general signals, into the brain than out of the brain. Because the brain is very complicated, so it's easy to go from something complex to something simple.
Right.
There may be like thousands of neurons firing when you're trying to move your arms or whatever. So if you can just pick up part of those signals, you're able to use that signal to do something. But if you want to do that in reverse, you have to replicate kind of all those signals.
Right.
That's just a guess. Just a guess.
It sounds reasonable to me, right? It's almost like it's totally different, but it's like when I'm translating from Japanese to English, it's easier because I already know English. No, maybe it's not the same, but translating from English to Japanese is harder because I'm not good at it. No, I wonder if you're thinking maybe Andrew's talking about like the Matrix, like when Neo puts the jack in the back of his head and he downloads software upgrades like I know kung fu, he's able to do these things. I wonder. Guys, the chat is on fire. Con, I do see your comments. I will get to them at the end, but we're talking about AI right now, so I promise to get to your comments because they're related to like cleaning and moving out of apartments. But we'll get back to them in a second. Wow, this is interesting. Andrew's like shouting out Altered Carbon. Matt's like Altered Carbon is great. If you guys haven't seen that, it's on. Is it on Amazon Prime or Netflix? Altered Carbon is a really cool show that talks about this topic. Beats me. Kevin has a comment about moving to Kyoto. We'll get back to that. But Con has an interesting comment related to our topic now. The concept of downloading was addressed in one of my favorite dystopian comics, Transmetropolitan. Sick comic. I didn't know that, dude. Thank you for sharing that. And I think this concept has been around for a while. I mean, Isaac Asimov and other science fiction greats have talked about it. Kevin Jameson says, Altered Carbon was excellent as well. The concept of sleeves, so sleeves is like a human shell, must have been incredibly challenging for the actors. Each actor has to try and absolutely copy the tics and mannerisms of the other actors. Yeah, from a production point of view and kind of creative point of view, there was an episode where they're like the mother of the police officer, so she was Latina. The mother was uploaded to the cloud, and then her consciousness was downloaded into this sleeve, and it's like this big burly kind of white guy with tattoos and a beard, and then suddenly he's like, so a la hacienda. I know he's speaking fluent Spanish with this kind of motherly personality in it, and the actor did amazing. I was just like, and they were bonding, and I'm like, she saw through his outer shell and just saw that's mom inside, and the actor did a great job of doing all the language stuff with it. It sounded very native, so yeah, props to that. Andrew says some research trusted say that a human that will live forever is alive now. Maybe. Could be, yeah. Is that a mutation, or is that something that we've been cooking in the labs? What's his name? Zergwile? I forgot. He's a super rich billionaire dude. He's been showcasing documentaries that talk about trying to live forever. Zergwile? I have to maybe put him in the links later. And he's like, I hope in my lifetime I can live forever. And he's talking about telomeres and all that stuff. Matt,
I guess if you count if you count freezing someone's brain and then solving them and then fixing their brain and then giving them a new body, living forever, then obviously some of them would be living today.
You're talking about freezing, right? What's it called?
Yeah.
Cryogenics.
Something.
Yeah. Cryogenics, where you freeze it today and we fix you and unfreeze you later.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good business model because there's like you might not get the results you want, but you're gonna pay. Matt20 says there's also 3 levels of AI. Lower levels are what we need. Can you respond to that, Xiao? I don't quite follow.
I'm actually not quite sure what the 3 levels are. There are probably many ways to have different levels of AI.
Okay,
you probably need to be more specific, Matt.
He probably has a few more comments here related to that. Augmented brains. And then Neuralink is talking about monkey was playing Pong with just their brain. Neuralink is basically the interface between brain and PC. They haven't got the computer
that's
to
what
track their brain experience yet.
Brain-machine interface means. Again.
Brain-machine interface. Okay, very good. Andrew's like, I think it's a matter of just a few years before humans will start transmitting information from their brains to machines and probably decades
You're
before.
being very
Optimistic?
optimistic. Thank you.
Okay. My neural link over the internet waves was, reading your data. I think you just sent me by message our little Wi-Fi Neuralink going on there, and probably decades before Vicer, but it might be a thing. Okay, but Xiao's like, maybe it'd take a little bit longer than that. And my man Tony in the house. Hey man, I want to hit Tony with a DJ air horn. Boop. So Tony has been a good friend. We met through this online thing called VRA, Video Ranking Academy. It's like Think Media and Sean Cannell's YouTube Academy, and him and I met through that. And he's been on my stream a lot. We've been talking a little bit on Messenger, and he finally did his first live stream on YouTube. Applause today, this morning in Japan. And he had me as his first guest. So thank you so much for having me. Maybe we'll put the links in the description so you can check that out on the replay as well. He talked all about photography. I know, Andrew, you're totally into photography. That might be an interesting one for you guys. Anyone who else is into photography, do want to check that out. We talked about cameras, smartphone photography, as well as editing software. So check that out. And Khan's like, sorry, good grief, you guys are talking on a level so beyond me. Please bear in mind that I can't even use a computer. Sorry, guys. Khan, no, we definitely have you in mind, man. I tried to kind of make it as simple to kind of grasp some of the concepts. But if it's over your head, don't worry. A lot of this stuff is over my head. That's why Xiao's the expert here. Matt's like, I forgot the labels. And Khan's like, yay! Awesome. But what are we going to talk about? Okay, Xiao, we're going to go to a website that you kind of prepared. Can you talk us a little bit through that while I make sure it's...
Yeah, so I was trying to bring onto the show something more practical, like, rather than just fiction. Like we have been mostly talking about fictions at this point. Like we are talking about things far in the future and things that may never happen so far. But I want to talk more about something that's helping us, that's going to help us today, maybe in the next year, that kind of stuff. So this is one of those things. So this is a technology that's going to improve your video chat. And we are all video chatting these days.
To improve your video chat, what does that mean? To make you look better, sound better?
So one problem of video chat is you have to transmit a lot of data.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're on your smartphone, if you're outside, you don't have a good connection, you're going to get blurry images. But this research may be able to fix that.
That is so interesting. Okay, and before we start playing this, I also want to do my last shout out here. Guys, if we have time, I hope we do, I want to actually talk a little bit about photo editing software that has come out recently that uses AI. So the thing is, do you want to get the special discount code for this photo editing software? It's 50% off right now. I do have a affiliate link for that, so I get a little bit of a kickback. But stick around till the end if you are interested in that. It is wizardry. I'm not talking about Photoshop. This thing called Luminar AI. I might do a very quick demo to show you.
Are we going to talk about the photo editing software?
Well, how about that a little bit later, maybe?
Okay.
But I just wanted to kind of foreshadow that coming up. All right, so Xiao, I'm going to press play on here, and if you want, if you just tell me where to stop it, and if you want to make a comment and talk us through it, okay? Here we go, guys.
What we have on the left is basically a video of a guy talking. So if Lito plays a video, you can see the guy is just talking.
Okay, and guys, just let us know if there's any feedback, if there's any echoing in the audio. It sounds pretty good to me, but it's sometimes hard to tell.
Yeah,
here we go.
Things happen.
Yeah.
But basically, the goal of video conferencing is trying to transmit this video to somewhere else. But transmitting the video itself is very expensive. But fortunately, just if you can stop here.
Okay.
Fortunately, people's face are very, how do I say this? So the things that appear in video conferences are usually people's face.
Mm-hmm.
I know this may sound very obvious, and it sounds like I'm stating something that's insane, but normally we just need the face. We just need the face, like your rotation of the face, your facial expressions, your mouth opening, your nose, whatever, your eyes looking whichever way. So if we can kind of just boil it down to that, if you only transmit those information, it's gonna be way easy. It's gonna take way less space. So currently, what we are doing is say if we have a video feed, let's say this video feed is like a couple hundred pixels. That's about the resolution 20 years ago. But let's just say that.
Okay.
A couple hundred pixel by couple hundred pixels. Then you have like 100,000 pixels, and each will have 3 colors, obviously. So that's like almost 500,000 numbers you have to transmit over the internet.
Right. So that's a lot of data you're crunching.
Yeah. If you only need to transmit the shape of your face, kind of your mouth, whether your mouth is opening or not, if you only need those information, you can go way less. So you can do about the same thing when you have a bad connection. Or if you have the same amount of connection, you can transmit more information to make it look more real.
Interesting. So are you saying so it improves what normally like if we're doing a Zoom chat, like luckily our internet's both really good. It seems like we're pretty stable. But sometimes people are like, are you saying it can like correct things like that, perhaps? Like,
you are talking about a gap in time.
Oh, okay, so that's different. Okay, that's a lag. Okay, but you're talking about reducing bandwidth?
Yeah.
Ah.
Well, I guess sometimes you have a lag is because the network cannot handle the amount of data it's going through. So if you only send less data, then it's gonna go faster. Then that's a possibility.
Okay, interesting. So it's kind of reducing the amount of data that needs to be sent, but still making a clear picture of what needs to be sent.
So what we can see on the right is the reconstruction with the reduced amount of information.
Oh my, okay. So,
and as you can see, it's very similar to what's on the left.
Yeah, Matt's giving me a really interesting comment. He said, is this a fast deepfake technology to reproduce a webcam with less bandwidth?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of.
Kind of. Okay, so if people don't know what deepfake is, it's basically overlaying another person's face on top of a real person, right? So,
I still don't know how this made. I haven't read about it, but I can imagine.
Right. Well, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos that say deepfake, and it'll be like Kevin Bacon in every movie, or like, Obama giving this speech, but the actual person is not Obama, but it looks and sounds like him. They like reproduce his face and reproduce his voice as much as possible. Sometimes it looks fake. Sometimes it looks pretty convincing. So maybe something like that, a quick, fast deepfake, he was saying. Okay, can I play it a little bit more so people can see what you're talking about?
Yeah.
To me, just from this still image, it looks like an Instagram filter. It looks like a beauty filter. Like, oh, look, his.
Remember the picture on the right takes a lot less data to make.
Really interesting. Okay, but the level of detail looks still very realistic. Okay.
Yeah. Because human face are kind of all similar.
Right. There's similar features that we all have, right? Okay.
Nobody has copy-pasted the results there. This is a near-perfect reconstruction of the input, except that the amount of information we need to transmit through the network is significantly less than with previous compression techniques.
And then the video goes to how little amount of information in the next section.
Here is the
Here we go.
against H.264, a powerful.
So
and
H.264 is
scalable.
probably what you are using for this live stream right now.
Okay, this is a type of codec that they use, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Standards.
So as we can see, H.264 is using about 7 to 10 times as much data.
Okay, so now
The
just
proposed
to
method is only using very little.
make it clear, the one on the right is the kind of one of the standard ones we're using now. So using a lot more data, maybe almost 8 times more than this new method, and it looks pretty similar, if not actually better.
Looks very similar.
Yeah. Again, Instagram
not
filter, man.
Especially around the glasses, but the rest is similar. And if
So
you
they are,
holding onto your paper
like
so-
as he said, there are differences, especially around the glasses. But it's mostly similar.
Mostly similar, yeah, and it's convincing. It's convincing enough. It doesn't look like CGI Toy Story fake humans. It does still look pretty realistic. Speaking of this, I'm a big Star Wars geek. So the Mandalorian, in their pilot episode, sorry to spoiler warning if you haven't seen it, they bring back Luke Skywalker and they do a deep fake on that. And he does look a little plasticky. So I don't know if this looks way better than that. And this is real time, right? Is this real time or is it rendered?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be real time.
Wow, that's amazing.
I mean, if you're doing for video conferences, you had to be real time.
Right. Okay, so let's go to the chat because this is so interesting and people are saying this stuff. So Matt Empire, who is also Matt20, you are cloned yourself. And he's on both accounts. He's saying deepfake is getting very good and very fast. Reasonable results in less than 40 seconds to swap a face. I guess the same face can be much faster, right? So if your deepfake is like, overlaying a different face.
Well, if we're talking about tens of seconds to swap a face, it's probably a different technology.
Okay.
And this has to be done in real time. So it's an order of magnitude faster.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but Matt also said probably the same face is going to be faster.
I see. Con has an interesting comment. He's like, did this originate with Hannibal Lecter using Sergeant Pembry's face? I think what he's talking about is maybe the movie Hannibal Lecter, where he like takes the skin off of people. And
I do not get the reference.
Okay, I
Sorry.
think Con, let me know if that's the right reference. Is it from one of the movies where he like skins someone and puts his face on? Ugh, it's kind of hideous to think about. But yeah, maybe that's a low-tech version of this. Matt Empire says 2-Minute Papers is a great YouTube channel for AI and things of this topic. I know that voice. This is the 2-Minute Papers, I think. So Matt seems to recognize that.
Yeah.
And then
this is a 2-minute paper.
It is, okay. And Andrew's like, yeah, Matt is double sleeved. So if we're in the altered carbon thing, yeah, Matt is he's transmitting his consciousness into two different sleeves, two different bodies accounts. Kevin's like, I'm sorry that I'm way behind after putting my son to bed. Another group actually did a better job at deepfaking Luke in The Mandalorian. I think I saw that. There's a bunch of graphic artists that kind of reworked it. And yeah, they had more time and maybe less budget, but they put their creativity to the test. I wonder if that's a budget thing, Xiao, when it comes to this technology. Like the more money you pour into AI and stuff, the better results you're going to get? Or is that not true? Is that just a time thing?
I'm not sure, but I mean, if you're making a movie, you're probably using like established technology. Maybe whoever made better videos are probably using newer technologies. So if you're not producing the whole movie, you don't have to guarantee making the result. Then you can afford to take more risk and use newer, better technologies. That would be my guess.
Okay, very interesting. Con replied with, yes, it's from The Silence of the Lambs. God, my typing sucks. Don't worry, I got it. Silence of the Lambs. Hitsuji no chumoku? Hitsuji no chumoku in Japanese, I think.
Chinmoku.
Chinmoku?
I think it would be.
Silence,
That's
right?
my guess.
Yeah, Chinmoku.
That's my
Okay.
intuition as a Chinese person. I can kind of guess how kanjis are pronounced.
Oh, that's awesome. Great job. The Matt Empire says, you think I stayed with two sleeves?
Jeez.
The time between the first and second were probably quite a few advances in that time too. I think he's talking about the 2-minute papers. Oh, sorry. In regards to the Mandalorian improvement. Okay. Dude, I think kind of a behind the scenes thing, if you're a Star Wars fan like me, my guest, Normarai, I'm guessing that his brother works at ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, and I think he worked on that scene. So I'd love to know more behind that. I'll have to maybe pick his brain about that. But yeah, he works at ILM, and I think he worked on The Mandalorian for something. So that's pretty cool. And Khan's like, Hitsuji no Chinmoku? Do you know how to pronounce that?
I think it's Chinmoku.
Chinmoku. Okay, thank you so much, Khan. Awesome. All right, so Xiao, speaking of this, like, do you want to show a bit more of the video, or should I go to another practical demo of AI?
This is pretty much it.
It's pretty much it. Okay, let me quickly load up my AI here. So guys, what I'm gonna my AI program. Let's do this. The next thing, if you guys are just interested, I'd like to show you a quick demo of this photo editing software. And this thing takes a lot of horsepower on my Mac. So I think you're seeing my picture kind of going a bit chunky right now. I think it's because this takes a lot of processing power. So I did this earlier with the stream with Tony, and it was fine, but maybe I should have rebooted my computer before streaming. So I'm gonna just kind of close up some of these windows, if that's cool.
I saw Max doesn't need rebooting. Jeez.
I don't know. I am running the M1, so that helps a lot. But this is running to get this kind of desktop. It's running something else. It's running NDI to process that over this. So there's a lot of processes going on, plus this Luminar AI. So hold on just a second here. I need to open up a new screen. So just give me a sec. Okay, let's do a share screen. Let's open this up. Guys, bear with me a second here. Okay, and maybe I can just put AI on the whole desktop. Is it letting me do that? Ecamm live. Boop. Okay. Boom, I'll full screen it. No, it's not allowing me to full screen it for some reason. Luminar AI. There. Okay. Oh no, that is the website? Get 50% off. That's the, guys.
It seems you're getting a prompt.
Yeah, I think so. Stay till the end and get that special affiliate code where you can, if you're interested in this for that, you can check it out and get a big discount until the end of next week. Okay, I think, am I still getting a prompt? Okay. Bear with me. Okay, there we go. I have to click off that prompt. There we go. Okay, so this is actually a stock photo that comes with it, and yeah, let's look at some of the features here. So how this works is it is using AI to do some really complex photo edits. So okay, let's look at how this works. I'll give you a really quick demo. So there's these things like called templates. So if you're familiar with Instagram, or even your own smartphone probably has some little templates that you can click on, and it'll add different edits to it. So this even analyzes the photo and then gives me some recommendations. So it says, for this photo, you can use our overcast templates. That's one of them. And there's a few to choose from. This is a waterscape because it recognizes the mirroring in the water. There's another one that goes big screen, a more cinematic thing. Let's go with the first one, overcast. So it's like an overcast sky. And if I click on the first one, oh, that was actually quite fast. Probably it's because of the stock photo. Notice how that it changed the result. Right. It did more saturation. It picked up on what colors to boost up. Look at the saturation. Looked at the details. Probably sharpened a bit. Let's go to the next one. Mystery. Okay, it's black and white. These are things you can find in a lot of photo editing software like Lightroom or Photoshop or other free alternatives. However, it goes a step further. Okay, so let's go to like okay, I like the dynamic result one. Let's let's favorite that. That's been my favorite list. And then if I wanted to go further, and I can go into the ... and go into edits. And I'm going to show you the power of this using AI. So all of these things are using AI. We're going to change the sky. And now a lot of photographers do this because either the sky that they took that day isn't that interesting, or they want to make it more dramatic or whatnot. So there's this thing that basically it will replace the sky in one click. It'll analyze where the sky is, probably look at the reflections at the bottom as well, and replace that and do all those edits really, really fast. So let's say I want a more dramatic looking stormy sky. I click on that, give it time to process. You can see it, boom, it's done. Right?
It's nice. You can see the reflections also changed.
Exactly, right? It got all of that in a one-click kind of thing. Let's give it more of a sunset feel. Now, if you're not running a really high performance computer, this will take a longer time. This particular photo, again, I think it's stock. So they did this on purpose, and it's working really well with it, really fast. If I had used my own photo, it would take a little bit longer. And then, yeah, there's a few ones. These are the ones that come in Milky Way. We did this in Tony's demonstration on his thing today, where I just put the Milky Way in the back. That's kind of a really difficult shot, but it looks pretty good. It looks pretty realistic. Now,
Looks alright.
yeah,
But I can see the reflections on the glass panes of that building didn't change. That's a bit. I mean, it's very difficult to do that.
it's a really good point, Xiao. Okay, so maybe that's in the next upgrade, right?
Yeah.
But that's just one thing, and you can do that stuff in Photoshop. Oh yeah, and you can do a before after. That's a built-in feature with a lot of photo editing software. So what the original looks like and what the after looks like in real time, right? I mean, that's not bad looking. It is kind of
Yeah, it's not bad.
funny. So like a lot of people are into photography. Yeah, Anthony's here. And he's like, just composite the photo, right? And that's what I was gonna say, Anthony. Right? Like what people normally do is they'll get two photos, a photo of the Milky Way, and then they'll have to manually do it in Photoshop or there's something. But this is just one click, and it's great for someone like me who doesn't want to dive too deep into Photoshop. I'm not really that good at being a Photoshop ninja, so I just want to get this like out really quick on social media, Instagram or whatnot, make a thumbnail out of it. But someone like Tony, who's really into the diving under the hood, can use Photoshop a lot better than that. But the time it takes to just one click can save you a lot of time if you're doing a lot of edits like this. Let's look at another feature. Let's go to there are other things: film grain, portrait, dodge and burn. But what was the other one? Mystical. I think this is where you get into more avant-garde stuff. Let's just turn this on. Oh, so it's adding a more dreamy look and all that, and making it a bit more kind of abstract looking, soft focus. Yeah, I mean these are all sliders and stuff, so it's really like easy to do. Atmospheric things like fog. What is it? Let's do a layered fog, and so I'll pump it up so you can really see the difference. Just give it a sec. Can you see a difference? I can't really see. Oh, maybe I have to change the depth.
I cannot see a difference.
Okay, if I add depth to it, you can see a little bit more of a foggy day. It's not so good on this photo.
No.
But again, yeah, you can add a sun here. Let's have the sun peeking through the clouds. There you go. There's the sun, and you got its rays poking up. And that's again, it's all compositing stuff. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Xiao. Did you have something to say?
That's a bit Teletubbies.
It's a good way of putting it. And yeah, you can change the penetration, see how far, it penetrates through objects behind it or not. Things like that. Yeah, and Andrew, definitely check out Tony's channel about photography. Man, you really want to get into a deep dive into photography. I think a lot of the content on Tony's channel can be very useful for you. So guys, yeah, let's all help each other out. Guys, if you're into language learning, if you're into Xiao, do you cover any other topics we're talking today in your channel? Is it mainly just language learning right now?
Well, we are supposed to cover language, culture, and actually religion and politics. So we were talking about earlier a bit about the politics of artificial intelligence. That will be in the potential topics.
Awesome. So
And
yeah,
I know this is kind of controversial and a lot of people don't do this stuff, but I think we are all affected by politics, and it's hard for me to not talk about things.
cool. Yeah, especially recently, because like you know, the era of Trump, and like if you're not into politics, you can't avoid it anymore, right? It's like it's affecting all of us, really, like you said. I'm just gonna put the link. If you're not into politics, you can't avoid it. Sorry, that was me in the background. I'll just put the link to that affiliate marketing. If you guys are interested, please do check it out. I get a little bit of a kickback for anything that is that you purchase, but it's all 50% off right now, so that's pretty cool. Let's start to wind things down. I want to go back to the comments about moving, and then we'll do last Q&A with people. So let me just take this off and go back to our other two-person one. Oop. So Xiao, after moving to Tokyo, I know you're not like kind of going into Tokyo as much right now, but are you getting used to your life there now? Is everything good with that?
So I'm working from home, and it couldn't get better, I would say.
Oh, nice.
So
Tell me
I'm
why.
saving time going to work. I don't have to go to work. I just move to the other side of the table, literally. Yeah.
Can you imagine
And I
yourself
get
working from
to
home?
control. Oh, what you are saying?
I'm sorry, I cut you off. I just was saying, after your comment, if you can say, would you like to work from home more and more from now? Would you like to keep that
Oh yeah,
in the future?
Oh yeah. So our company is basically all working from home at this time, and after Corona, we are having basically people who want to stay from home, they can just stay working from home, and people want to go to the office, they can go to the office. But one thing with Japan is you have to understand, Japan has a Hanko culture. So Hanko is those stamps.
Yeah.
Especially in a company, there's a lot of official documents, they have to be stamped.
Yeah, if people don't understand what a personal stamp is, it's kind of like, royalty back in like medieval times. Like you'd have like wax on a to seal a letter, and there's like and you kind of press it, something like that, but in a more modern form. So they're still made of like wood and bamboo, and they're all hand carved, right? It's basically like your signature.
Yeah,
in a way.
if you go to Japan, you better have one. So they will say you can just sign your name, but in practice, it's way easier to just have a stamp.
Right. So if you're planning to live in Japan, you gotta make one. It's starting to change a little bit now, though, with like official governments.
Yeah,
agencies.
if you are saying it's starting to change.
Yeah, but there is still a need for it in certain cases, for sure.
Yeah.
So are you saying the fact that you have to stamp things, you still have to go to work and do that?
Yeah, because you have to do something physical.
Yeah, it's
So
kind of a legacy thing.
there's a word people have invented words for it. So Hanko Shisha. So
Hanko
you are
Shisha.
going to the company just to stamp something.
It seems kind of backwards in a way. Like Japan is known for its technology and this and that, but there's a lot of technology that's so far behind the rest of the world. Like fax machines are still a thing here, and personal stamps, and it's kind of like redundant. I find. Okay, but that's cool. And that's great that you like working at home. To tell you the truth, I like it too. When I was still working as an English teacher, my company started doing online lessons, and I really loved it. And the fact that I'm transitioning to become a content creator, I will go out and still make content, but I'm happy to live stream with you guys at home and do a lot of editing at home. But yeah, maybe in the future, a lot of these practices, we realize now there's a lot of things we don't have to do in person. A lot of things I'd like rather to, meet my friends. It makes it more special, but maybe business trips aren't going to be as normal as they were before. Maybe they're just reserved for certain things, or maybe there are things that are better done online, right? Bill Gates was just doing a talk saying, he meets more with the African leaders about the diseases there more online. He doesn't have to go there and do long 8-hour meetings, 2-3 day marathon meetings now. He can just like talk with them every week online. It's more efficient. Okay, let's go back to some of the comments. Khan says he was talking about the trade-off with not working for a while, and now you're finally working. At my house, my wife is a great cook and handles all the meals. I clean the house. It's a fair trade. Nice. I'm glad that both of you are.
Another thing I was trying to say about working from home is you decide what you eat.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
You have a different relationship with food now?
Yeah. I have everything scheduled out. I only buy the food I need. I cook everything without waste. I cook everything. I eat everything.
So you plan your meals?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice,
It's,
dude.
yeah, it's way easier.
Do you feel you're eating more healthy in general? Okay, questionable. Okay, but
I'm eating healthy. I'm eating at a certain health level.
that's good. That's good. I think we all need to kind of watch our weight. I hope I can focus
Yep.
more on that. Now that I'm focusing more on YouTube, I've actually been cooking less because I'm kind
I
of
am
busy with
doing
this.
training though. I have all these stuff.
Nice, very nice. You got some dumbbells? You're like
Yeah. So this
Good.
is what you put on a dumbbell. I also have bars.
pumped up. Yeah. I want to see Super Shao. I want to see like ripped, like, yeah, I'm an AI engineer. Like 6 months later, Shao's like, hey everybody, welcome to Tokyo. Kevin
happen.
says, when Mary and I moved from our first apartment in Kyoto, they tried charging us 1
Wow.
million yen.
1
What?
million
For
yen.
damaging the premium hardwood flooring. We ended up paying a lawyer 200,000 yen. I'm like thinking Nijuman, 200,000 yen to avoid paying the real estate company. What? That's
Yeah.
nuts, dude.
These people can be very nasty.
I guess they're
So-
trying to
Definitely be careful.
be careful. Okay, good point. Very good point. They're trying to nickel and dime you, right? Let's see here.
I mean, it's not nickel and dimes if you're talking about 1 million yen.
Oh yeah, okay. They're trying to like
Yeah, that's like 1 year worth of savings.
okay, they're trying to steal your nest egg.
Yeah.
Right, right. I'm trying to just scroll through the chat here. If anyone has any final Q&A for Shao and me, now's a good time to put it in. And let's see. Okay, Andrew said, I'm here some bad guys can get any software for free if they really want. Smiley face. I'm looking a little like, is that you there? No.
Support the creators. As a
Right.
software engineer, again, if people steal our work, or we are gonna starve, and nobody's gonna produce your softwares anymore.
Nah, that's a good point. I wonder if Andrew's also talking about like the deep fake software, because like I saw an interview when that first came out, and like, can people use this for bad things? Like, how can you tell if it's the real president of the United States or a deep fake? And maybe hackers or bad groups can try to disseminate that type of false information. Con saying, Mr. Shao, unrelated to the topic, but when I was a college student, I had a friend named Shao Su Wei. He was a bassoonist, so he played the bassoon for the Shanghai Symphony. He was a good friend, and it was his dream to produce Chinese popular music. Okay. I thought for a second, Con was like, and do you know him? Do you know Shao Su Wei from China? That's cool. Any comment on that, Shao?
Okay. No.
Okay. Don't know him. You know John from
Don't know.
Vancouver? No.
No.
Well, that's cool. The Shanghai Symphony. Wow.
The name's probably Wei Xiao Su, by my understanding, because we usually sometimes we put last name first name last.
Ah, right, right.
that's
Just like
the-
Japanese. Right.
Yeah.
Shao is it a common name? Like I hear it more and more.
So first of all, it's not a name. So it's a transliteration of a Chinese character. So we have Chinese characters first.
Okay.
There are many Chinese characters that share the same sound. So when you say they have the same transliteration, it really doesn't mean much.
Okay. So Shao's not a name, but it's a transliteration. Is Shao like your nickname?
It's like a sound.
It's a
just
sound.
a sound. It's how my name sounds.
Oh, okay.
And it's only one character. The person is probably named, the family name is probably Wei, and the given name is Xiao Su.
Ah, okay. But maybe
So that's according to my understanding to how Chinese names works, because Wei is one of the common family names in China.
so. What is? Can I ask what is your full name? I've only known you as Xiao.
So my full name is Zheng Xiao.
Zheng Xiao. So Zheng is your
That's
family
how
name?
you would pronounce it in English. Yeah, that's my Zheng is my family name.
Okay. Very interesting. I didn't know that.
Just since I'm a language channel, I'm gonna share some interesting facts about names.
Please.
So in Russian, you actually have your gender with your name. So if you see someone, oh geez, it's hard to describe. So if its names ends with ya or wa, it's often a female,
Ah, okay.
and it's I can someone think of some popular Russian names? But you can kind of Gorbachev. Yeah, Gorbachev is so the f at the end usually indicates it's a male name. So it's actually an inflection of the name.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I see the pattern in other languages too. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah.
Now go ahead.
I mean, in Norwegian languages, sometimes denotes like if you're the son of blah 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 or the daughter of blah blah blah. So you'll be like Mendelssohn or like Frigen daughter. You know, to show that your gender. Is something like that maybe?
Yeah, it's something like that.
That's so cool.
And I still don't understand how Russian names work. That's how complicated it is.
Well, maybe you'll have to get Andrew on your stream because he's Ukrainian and I think he does.
Oh
speak
yeah,
Russian,
Andrew,
right?
you speak Russian.
Yeah. So hey, there's a kind of a streaming idea for you guys.
Yeah.
So I'll give that to you there. Matt's like facts. Why? Oh,
Facts. Yeah. Why Japan? Why?
I know.
Why everything has to be done over phones? Why can't you just use emails?
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so backwards in some ways. Anthony's like, right now is the best time to be a content creator. Yeah, because like everybody's going online for sure. Matt Empire says, I recommend Huel for fast food. Huel.
So that's that's Japanese. So that's why it's pronounced fuel.
What is that?
So Japanese, you have ha hi fu he ho, right? So fu can actually be spelled with hu.
Ah, okay.
Because it's from the same row. So you can actually write fuel with HUEL if you're talking about Japanese person.
Okay, I understand.
Your interesting language fact for the day.
Thank you. Pro language tip from Xiao. But like, what is Huel? Is it like a sort of a fast food, vegan, healthy cheese?
It's one of those meal substitute powders.
Oh, okay.
So there are others. I just forgot the name. I couldn't think of the name, but there's another one. Like I think it's called Coffeeist.
Okay, cool. I think back in the day when I was growing up in the 80s, it was like Weight Watchers, meal supplement, Jenny Craig, these like kind of powder supplements, right? Okay, didn't know that.
But it's like it's not meant to be a supplement. It's meant to be like a meal substitute. So it's like a full meal.
Oh, a meal substitute. I mean, that's what I meant. Yeah, meal substitute. But he's saying for fast food, vegan? Fast food too? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I'll have to check it out. Andrew's like, I got myself a steaming pot. I wonder, do you mean a silicone steamer? I wonder, and got rid of my frying pan. My diet became healthier. I use a silicone steamer all the time. Just me and my wife just put like vegetables and a little bit of oil and salt and pepper in it with veggies, and 7 minutes, 10 minutes in the microwave, hot meal done. And some family names are genderified, I guess in Russian, and in other Slavic languages. Magdish. Sorry if I always say that wrong, Andrew. I'm so sorry. My family name cannot be genderified, although it is Slavic. You have to pronounce it for me again. I always like look at that spelling. Magdish, I think. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's made in Matt's going. It's made in the UK. Comp is the Japanese one. for fuel.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
A fuel
okay.
is made up from
Sorry,
human
I
fuel.
probably got that wrong then.
Okay, I think the concept was, yep, and it's fast to make, not junk food. Okay, got it. Awesome. So we got a little bit of fuel for your minds at the end there, with Xiao, the AI engineer who moved from Osaka to Tokyo, as well as a kind of a language expert and explorer of that topic. So guys, I think it's a nice time to wind things down. We're getting close to the 2-hour mark. I want to say a big thank you for everyone in the chat for being so interactive, and a big applause for my guest, Xiao. He gets the big DJ horns. Horns up, as Con would say. And guys, thank you for making this an awesome stream. You guys have been watching right till the end. Thank you for being so interactive. Xiao, you were great. Thank you for being a guest again on the stream. Oh, last little comment. Kevin Jameson's getting in. The American meal powder is Soylent. I think I've heard of that as well. Soylent, yeah. And Yi is showing some love with great chat. Thank you, Yi. Your comment means so much. Thank you for giving me your feedback earlier. I took that to heart, and hopefully it's getting better. So thank you guys so much. Thanks, James. Thank you all you guys for being here. I just want to remind you that I stream two times a week now. I'm loving this type of interaction that I have. So check me out Saturday nights in Japan, Saturday nights at 9 p.m. and then Monday mornings at 9 a.m. That's usually targeting the North American crowd. And Con's like, hey man, my mom just called. I must have a call back. I'll call back soon. Okay, it was really fun. Okay, talk to you later. Okay, go talk to your mom. Okay, bye. Go take care of that, man. That's really important. Hashtag love moms everywhere for sure. And Matt Empire is like, interesting stuff. So Xiao, you really brought it this time. For people, who are interested in tech, AI is just like one of those topics that everyone's, topics it's related to us. So we have a lot of questions and curiosity about it. So thank you for bringing your wisdom and your experience.
Yeah, I'm glad people find it interesting.
Awesome. So in summary, we talked all about Xiao today, like, being affected by the pandemic, moving during that time, finding a new job, and then talking about AI, as well as other things, right? Like cooking and language. So a lot of cool topics that came out today, guys. Thank you so much. Hope to see you on the replay or the next stream. We will see you soon. Check out Xiao's channel. I will put it back in the description later. So check him out. I'll also check out Tony's channel. And Tony's like, my mom comes home from the hospital today. Guys, if you don't know, Tony's going through a bit of a hard time. His mom recently had a stroke, so she's been affected by that, but she's recovering quickly. And Tony, my prayers and my heart goes out to you and your mother, and I'm glad that she's coming home. I was in the same predicament. My father had a stroke, and we had to deal with that as well. It's hard when you're not there because you're halfway around the world, but I'm glad that you're close to her and can take care of her. Guys, you guys are fire. You guys are, I always say on fire, but the new language slang term is fire. You guys are fire. This was so fire, guys. Thank you so much. Let's keep it going and see you on the next stream. Peace out. Bye. See you later. See you. Thanks, Charles. See you guys.